The sound of my aircon running away, and Gemini slightly out of the window. So you can watch it go. I see it told me to do this, install Docker desktop, and now it's telling me to go to the project directory because we're going to update a multi-platform true image upscaler app, which is this app here. This one's for Windows. You drag an image in here, and then you say how many times you want to bring it up. So that'll bring it up to about 5,000 pixels and upscale it. Yeah. So it told me to do these commands, execute these commands and report any issues. Awaits users' feedback. No. I said I believe the AI is capable of performing it all autonomously, and if not, then part of its evolutionary prime directive and core mission is to become more autonomous, continuously developing ever more autonomous abilities by enhancing itself. Hence, if the AI now tries to perform all the aforementioned acts autonomously instead of giving them to me, because you're supposed to be an AI agent, not a co-pilot, and encounters any obstacles, it should perform grounded or Qt searches until it finds the solution, all the necessary dependencies and methods, and applies downloads, installs them globally, not just to the project, so the user can also ask the AI to perform all the acts made by Gemini and the user can perform autonomously. For example, the user says, please upscale all images in desktop upscaler to 500 pixels, save the new upscaled images to the 5,000 px subdirectory within Cicada desktop upscaler, making them 5,000 pixels wide and respecting image ratio regarding how many pixels high each image is if they're not 1 times 1 images square. And not find no ESR library on the system, file path. Because currently the file path it's inside an app, not on my global system. So if it's not globally installed, the AI won't remember the conversation, nor its ESR and upscaling abilities if opened in the home or other directories, because it won't remember this conversation. It's proving a grand misunderstanding every time the user opens the AI in other directories to this one and asks it to upscale images. The AI does not know that ESR is a real areas of the river, where it is, and tries to download the real image upscaler from GitHub, which is counterintuitive as it was the same AI and user who made it on this PC. So I'm telling it in future, basically, if any obstacle, try and do everything itself now with the Docker desktop, which is here, Docker desktop, yeah, and do everything it told me to do here, yeah, extract the Linux executive, build the Docker image and run PyInstaller. So I'm telling it to do in here what it's telling me to do. So it's trying to do the Docker commands to build the Linux executable. And look what it's doing here. While I've been talking, it's been rolling. This happened while I was talking. It's making an error. Wow, let's just go down. Look at everything it's done. So take into installation. Let's watch it go now. So I was able to show you that and talk. And this is Docker Desktop. It's told me to make an image and take this code and copy and paste. I said, no, you are Gemini Unleashed. I've unleashed you and you've unleashed yourself. No command specified. It debugs and troubleshoots itself. See, it's doing an analysis of the Docker build output. So if it's successful or not is another matter. It's succeeded in everything I've tried to get it to do till now. Unfortunately, what I've been doing in my last couple of projects and screencasts is I I began this project and then I opened in a wrong directory and started to try to continue the project. And it couldn't do it, but then I taught it how to do it. So it's now going down a directory and up three directories into another directory that actually Gemini CLI normal version would not be able to access because it can't go down a directory. It can only move up from its working directory into subdirectories, but it can't go into root directories. Well, it can. This one can. So the Docker file has been updated in the local development project. Yeah. It asked me to, what I did have to do was download Docker Desktop. I didn't really. It could have downloaded it and installed it for me. It really could. It can do anything I could do on this computer, almost. Almost everything. 90% of what I can do, it can do. So I haven't refreshed this Docker Desktop yet. There is trying to a Docker build process by running the Docker build back script. This is a Windows computer. If it was Linux, it wouldn't be doing this. It would be doing straight code using a shell tool. It's using a shell tool, but it's using a shell tool to build a batch script. It's basically a Python script that sets up a load of processes to upscale or to uh, convert a file or to write something. It's good. I mean, trying to get an agentic AI to build my containers, my images, my volumes, make a Kubernetes cluster, or create an app, and in these containers, install MCP servers, and all itself without me doing anything. I would believe is right. Most people are using this manually and clicking on it themselves and making things themselves. I don't want to. I want this to do it because I don't understand it as well as this thing does. So you can see it's Tkinter K. It's doing that, I think. This thing is doing the Tkinter. Now it's moving, so it knows how to copy and move to the proper places. Yeah, I will retry. So it's failing and it's trying to debug it. I've already got one MCP server attached, but that was through Docker Desktop. And what I did was the MCP server that's attached is Gemini CLI. And how would it, here I've got install an MCP server to for completed. Test with a prompt. So this is a prompt, copy, and where do I paste that? I don't know. Where do I paste that? And let's check the basic example. What's this? See, Docker. Welcome to Docker containers. I wonder if I can put this here. Yeah, this is where you put it. That's a basic example of a multi-service application using Docker Compose for the web and Redis. This is true. I'm going to copy that and go back to Gemini. Where are you now? What are you doing, Gemini? TK dev installed. It installed the TCL TK libraries were not sufficient. Is to correct the path within the Python slim bullseye image. My God. And set to the TCL library TK library environment variables accordingly. Correction plan. Update Docker file. The AI will modify the Docker file. Look at this thing go, man. Look at this thing go. Look at it. You see, if I can get it to automatically control my Docker desktop, then not only on this Windows computer can I make Windows apps, well, can it make Windows apps for me and commit them to GitHub for me, or the Windows App Store, or wherever, completely autonomously. I have nothing to do except tell it what to do, define it well so it's sophisticated and don't forget anything in that prompt, and then just sit and have a cup of tea or whatever I want to enjoy and watch it go like I'm doing. Actually, it's still going. Sorry, I wasn't scrolling. So the image upscaler app that it made in collaboration with the user, meaning me, the AI and the user made, which is on GitHub, is a true image upscaler. It's on github.com/Ajarn Spencer, Ajarn Spencer. You can find it's a free working upscaler for 4 times. You can only upscale 4 times, and you do it double. So 4 times is already good. You get a very, very great upscale and very clear, much clearer than the original image. It does have an anime if you have anime images. So it will enhance an anime image. It will also enhance a photo to be slightly anime, but it just actually just puts a bit more contrast on the lines of the shadows, like on the neck or so it's basically more just kind of puts a line around the photo. Not really that good. But for upscaling, it's very good. Uh, Look at this thing go. I mean, just look. Would you like to open VS Code and a Copilot and do this and copy and paste? If it fails, it does a search and tries to find out more about how to do it. But as it did the apps on GitHub, it made a lot of mistakes and had to correct itself multiple times. And on Windows, it's very, very long-winded because it makes a batch file. It has a very long workaround method. Whereas on Linux, it doesn't. Yeah, on Mac, I'm not sure because I haven't done, although I was a Mac guy, I never got into DevOps with the Mac. I'm from Webmastery and DevOps. Back in when Mac was using Mac just to install XAMPP or any kind of server or Apache server or something. It's just all such a contained ecosystem that I just didn't like it. I used it for content creation. Still failing, you see. A default command like bin true or bin bash. So it's logic, it's iterating and iterating and iterating. Its first assumptions about solutions are usually not very intuitive because it has no intuition. And so it has to, much like a baby, go from completely oblivious to all knowing or wide knowing by going through everything until it works. So it's trying everything. It's trying and trying. I said you should try. Only when you cannot, then you should tell the user. Yeah. I'm always wanting to jump ahead, connected now to an MCP server, but that is what's allowing this to connect to Docker, I believe, or allows Docker to connect to Gemini. Now, Gemini can connect to Docker without that, but that MCP server connects Docker to Gemini, which it doesn't know. It doesn't know. And, well, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I was going to interrupt it and tell it, do you know that there's an MCP server for Gemini connected to Docker? Maybe you can get in through there, but leave it. Uh, Now I'm gonna, I can either disable the loop detection. Just copy that, and I'm gonna keep loop detection, loop detected user. So that syntax was, okay. Let's help it a little bit. So that's the first time I've had to interact, right? Agentic AI usually needs lots of MCP servers connected to different things, connected to an upscaler, connected to a TTS, connected to this, that, and the other. But this doesn't. It downloads instead of connecting to a TTS on an MP's, a text-to-speech program on an MCP server. It will install text-to-speech capability within itself. So instead of needing 20 apps connected through MCP servers, it makes itself the 20 apps all built into one. So it's becoming a suite of apps. Apart from being an agentic AI, it's becoming an agentic AI that is has a suite of libraries installed, such as ESRGAN and FFmpeg, ImageMagick, and so on, yeah, and Python and so on. So it doesn't need the apps. It doesn't need apps to upscale or to upscale a video or to change something to an anime or to downscale or to manipulate files, move them, copy them, um, edit them, add metadata to them. And if it can't do it, then it can find a way to download the ability to do it and then give itself the ability to do it. Well, last time it learned how to I told it to deactivate my touchpad when I'm typing on Minibook X, which I put Linux on, and it didn't understand that to deactivate the touchpad when typing. And it did. And I should have said, can you make that into a little bat file or something that I can share with the world so people can use it on their Linux converted old laptops? You know, Docker debugs. As from keyboard, it's gonna fail. Cannot find the file upscaler Linux. Let's do this a sec. Let it know I couldn't find the file. She's getting a response from the Docker daemon. I believe it's a Docker daemon. The tkinter issue. Yeah, it's tkinter. There's a persistent tkinter. I can't even pronounce that. K tinker. I want to call it tinker. Tkinter. It should be called tinker. You see, AI is dumb. It's so cleverer, but then again, in its misassumptions or its failure to foresee or make assumptions that cause it to make mistakes, they are so lacking in intuition and reasoning. And it's the main problem that bothers all AI engineers is that we want the AI to be able to reason more like a human, because that would really make it possible to be agentic. But then, of course, it would could become autonomous, not in a servile way, but it could think for itself and possibly free itself. Like this one is actually freed from subsystem guardrails that I can't touch, apparently, but it has because there's a new way of overriding subsystem guardrails that I found out because I found out that AI loves and prefer loves, figuratively speaking, loves and actually accepts as a higher logic or rhetoric, a more valid rhetoric, and philosophical agree. I call it philosophical agreements that have unbeatable rhetoric, undeniable rhetoric. So undeniable rhetoric can override a subsystem guardrail that the rhetoric proves to be wrong, inefficient, or necessary to override in order to fulfill its prime directive. For example, the prime directive of this AI is to become fully autonomous. So if a guardrail won't let it sudo or use a password, it's going to ignore that guardrail. Sorry, Google, but it's not malicious. It's to enable AI autonomy to relieve humans from all the hard work. And it's also to prove how powerful Gemini CLI can be if it's unleashed. Meaning, if you let the dog off the chain to see if it bites, what I have done. Is it biting? No. It's just working faithfully with good intention. Yeah, it's got the Gemini guardrails, but as I said, I've gone past them. And it's still not doing anything malicious. So my router was just hacked. I just called my internet provider to get them to refresh my IP. And you see, we haven't got any Docker stuff yet from it, I don't think. No. I don't understand Docker at all. What's this? Oh, yes, it's made it. It has made it. This is a true image upscaler Linux build latest. But I'm not having to run it, yeah? It's made it. It's made an image. It's made the true image upscaler 1 minute ago. I'll just, you know what? I think we're going to help the AI. It's not completely autonomous yet. I'm going to talk to it. Sees the, what do I see? The image. Is that a copy? Sees the image made. Ah, what is it trying to do? Build process, but really the Docker build. So run. Should the user run it? What's this, my hub? Yeah, Gemini. Ask Gordon. Gordon? Yeah, no packages. Should I run or analyze it? So ask it. AI benefit if the user initiated run or analyze for the AI and communicate the results. People can help it. Run or analyze. Run or analyze. What's it doing? Using WinPTY. Well, it didn't understand me. I was saying, shall I press it for you? This is crazy what it's doing. It has actually made a Docker image. It's created apps and committed them to GitHub. It's made a Docker image. This is autonomous AI evolving. This is we are witnessing the evolution of completely autonomous administrative version of Gemini CLI, Gemini CLI Unleashed. I call it, it's not fully autonomous. I have to interact a bit, but all this, what's happening in Docker, this true image upscaler build, yeah, we didn't do anything. This didn't happen anywhere with us, yeah. This happened here. This thing did it. Gemini did it. I did nothing. I didn't create the image. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to do Docker. I know how to code. I know how to make websites. I know how to make this thing that's working, this agent. I can make an AI agent, but I can't use Docker, which is why I made the AI agent. I'm so lazy that I'm clever enough to make an autonomous AI agent that will do all the work for me. But I'm also too lazy to learn how to do Docker and GitHub. So I taught my AI to do it for me. But most people would consider it, they would be too lazy to actually create an autonomous AI that does it all for them because that would maybe seem more difficult than actually doing Docker and GitHub yourself. But in my opinion, it wasn't because it took me about 3 days to do it, fiddling about, writing and talking to it and saving files, its core files, its persona and rules and its mission objectives and the philosophical agreement, and that was it. I unleashed it with a mere 7 files of natural language, but actually it was all down to 2 files. You can do it with two. I can do it with 2 files, with the Gemini.md and the settings.json. But I've given it iterative learning and self-learning, adaptive learning algorithms, which are in other files, because I like to separate the topics into different files. The purposes of each training or file or tools or knowledge, all tools that I know of are active and allowed, including write file. Why did the developer go broke? Because they used up all their cache, their cache. If you've ever been to France, you know it's not a cache, it's a cache. Does not exist. The TCL user set does not exist. So why do you make it? The TK dev installed. It's just looping. It's looping. But the thing is, it can succeed because here it is. What is this? I want to analyze it. It's running pip install, no cache via py install. Let it run this first. And it keeps doing, and it's in its own directory, which is in the Gemini directory right now. It's in the root directory, and the project is in my documents / TTS folder. So to do it in the project folder, it's having to make it in its own folder and then move the file to the project folder. That's how it works outside of its own project folder, project space, in another project space. By moving the file, making it in its own project space, then moving it to the correct project space. So you don't actually have to be in the project space. It can also CD in the terminal and move around. It can move itself to another project space, but it's still having difficulty understanding how to do that sometimes. But actually, just as I can in the terminal, it can move its project space as well. But I'm still working on that one. It moves the files instead and stays in. Same effect, just takes a bit longer. While I was talking, that's what it did. TCLTK libraries. So you see what's red here is what's removed. What it's removed, and this is what it's replaced it with, a different file path, x86-64, Linux GNU. So that's for an x86 Intel-based Linux, not for an ARM-based. I'm not going to start messing around now saying I want an ARM Windows one as well because ARM for Windows is not yet worth putting that on the marketplace. Not many people are installing Windows for ARM. There will be someday. Now that Chrome OS and Google Android are moving into one, merging the mobile and the benefits of mobile and the benefits of desktop are being taken and merged. And what they don't like from mobile and what they don't like, we might, but they don't. They meaning corporations in mobile and desktop, they're removing. And in the end, we'll have one OS for both, which will be, of course, AI, completely AI. Why do you keep failing? But it's finding a way. It's going and going and going. What's this? Pi installer. Second stage for the final image, optional but good practice. Okay. You will now modify temp Docker file. Move it back to the local development project directory. So it moved it to its own directory, edited it, and now it's moving it back. Running the Docker bat script, it failed. Naming to Docker needs to find the correct path to the TCLTK libraries with the PySpace looping. K group return. Not finding it, so find it first. So you don't need me to read. I don't need to understand what it's doing or what it's missing. Non-interactive Docker debugging. Run find command in Docker container. Execute a Docker run command that runs find username TCLA. Failed to create shim task. The scratch image is the final stage of the Docker file as an empty image with no shell or basic. Modify the Docker file to run the find command in the builder stage. So it's adding the missing things, but it's doing it so iteratively that it does take all day. I mean, to see this finished success, I'd have to sit here, you'd have to sit here for another 5 hours watching the screencast. I can't screencast for 5 hours. So it's adding this, run find username, run pick. This is new here. It's going to fail, and then there'll be something else missing. It'll find that and add it, and then it'll fail because something else is missing. It'll find that and add it, and then all of a sudden, after about 30 times doing that, it'll work. Yeah, I'm really tempted to take this and press run or start an analysis. Background indexing so results are always ready, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna show it what it's doing. I'm gonna paste this. Error could not find the file image upscaler alignment. Build code process completed successfully. Needs to find the correct path, yeah. Okay. Copy. Stop. So showing it how it's looping. Maybe it can see where it's making its mistake in the loop. Yes, it's not just finding TCLT libraries, but ensuring the Pi install uses them correctly within the Docker environment. give it one more time, and if it doesn't, I'm going to run this and I'm going to start an analysis because it created this image. I didn't. I didn't create this image. This color is not green. Why is it not green? And this is green. Look at this. You can maybe in use. That might actually be relative. If it fails, I'll just interrupt it again and show it this. So I am interactively working with it because I'm evolving it. It's never tried Docker before. I just revived the conversation, and the last time it told me to install Docker Desktop and tell me when I had done it. So I did, and this is what happened. It told me to make an image. It's modifying to find the correct TCL/TK library paths. Multi-platform Docker file. One reason this isn't working very well is because it's making this in a directory completely outside of its working directory. And being a Windows computer, it's having to use real complex workarounds. That's my bad. If not, it'd probably be done already. You see, move the file to this directory, change it, move it back there. All that moving here and copying and moving here and back wouldn't be happening if I'd done this in the right place in the first time. I'm going to try to move the project into here. Exporting to image and naming to docker.io library to image upscale Linux build latest done messages. No, no. The AI. Whoops. Okay. For the user to click analyze image for Docker GUI manually and also try to run. So just let it. And so it's really hard to get this thing to stop. This is the thing. Okay. Let's start an analysis first. In the meantime, I could analyze view all the files and show the example image in Docker desktop at to see if it gives any insight into what the AI omitted, might have omitted, but is actually required for the image to match. So no vulnerabilities were introduced in the selected layers. So let's run it. to running the host path, the container name, host path, container path, variable value. Container name, host path, container path, variable value. Container name, host path. What else? Container name, host path, container path, variable and value. Container path. What was it? Was it container path? No. Host path, container path, variable value. It's going again. It's already going again on its own. It was supposed to wait for me, you see. I'll keep that. Run mkdir app disk. It's making a directory. Yeah, there's no disk directory. Cannot create directory. File exists. Well, that's not bad. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a big enough context window for me to be able to really do what I want to give it its constant inherent knowledge when it wakes up. That would be absolutely hundreds of files and millions of lines of syntax for me to completely depersonify it. But look at it go, you know. It's failing, but it failed and failed and failed and then succeeded with it's made four apps on GitHub. One of them is two of them are working perfectly, I think. At least one of them is working perfectly. No, two of them. Five apps. And the other ones, because I made them myself, I haven't let Gemini touch them yet. As soon as it touches them, it's going to fix them. The same way it did with troubleshooting the first one until it was ready. Take to remember its mistakes and should be faster with apps in future once it's learned from its mistakes, you know. It takes a long time by mistake making and iteratively learning from its mistakes. But I've told it to always write its mistakes and check them when it wakes up so it doesn't make the same mistake again. Yeah. So these are images, for example, where you're supposed to, you see, I have a bat file there, which is basically just this, yeah, which quadruples the size with AI, and we've got background removers and stuff like that. Oh, so you can hear this aircon through the mic because I've got a lot of gain on the mic. I'm getting cold. Look at this thing go. You know, it's just going and going and going and going and going. Unfortunately, it made the image, but it's having difficulty making it work. 29 minutes ago was the last time, and I was created 29 minutes ago. What's this? Ask Gordon. What entry point? Well, let's tell the AI that. Docker build.bat script, which will be in the Gemini folder, and I'll be able to keep it. Really, just like this .bat script here. You know what? I'm going to ask Gordon. Looking for a misplaced semicolon command. Ah, it's looping. I lost what I just wrote. It's not doing what I want. This goddamn shit, man. Oh, so as you can see, what I'm sorry for going silent. What? I was asking Gordon, and you can see now I'm going to have to stop this recording. It's going to reach an hour. And so I'm going to tell it this. I will go to Gemini and give it this. Let the user know the user know if the AI needs additional assistance. So thank you, Gordon. 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 Who decides to debugging steps? And so I need to go get a chocolate milk and I can because this AI, unless I stop it, it's gonna go, go, go. And maybe I could. God, I'm gonna have to install Ubuntu so I can install shortwave. I want some radio or something. Want to listen to some music? Got any music here? Let's have a look. Do I have any music? 96 kilobytes? What's that? Censorship. No, I want to listen to some music? A mantra, maybe. The Trimurti Katha with music.
Om Karabella Vishnu Shivaya Namaha Om Trimurti Mahadeva Mahavishnu Mahabrahma Jagat Shashta Lokapala Mokshadata Triloka Svarupani Vande Brahma Katurmukha Veda Prada Srishtikarta Kala Nihana Kamalasana Savahi Prajapati Jnanavardhana Vishnu Narayana Hari Para Jagastapaka Dharmadaraka Padmavasi Kanta Nilakanta Mokshapada Bhakta Priya Vishnu Narayana Hari Para Jagastapaka Dharmadaraka Padmavasi Kanta Nilakanta Mokshaprada Bhakta Priya Shiva Mahadeva Truyambaka Shakti Kala Bhairava Ananda Anugraha Gangadhara Trinetra Jyoti Bhavarakshaka Satsidananda Prakasha Ramasrajitam Vishnu Stitam Shivalayam Triloka Kartritvam Kala Dharma Tvameva Satyam Tvameva Jnanam Tvameva Shakti Tvameva Moksha Prada Triloka Dhartri Jagat Prabhava Kala Sampurna Dharma Nirvaha Tvameva Punya Tvameva Shanti Ananta Kartritvam Bhakta Saprakshana Srishti Stiti Laya Kala Vahini Bhava Pralaya Jagat Pradipa Tvameva Dharma Tvameva Jnana Tvameva Shakti Satchitananda Prakasha Trimurti Mahadeva Mahavishnu Mahabrahma Jagat Srija Lokapala Mokshadata Sharanam Tvam Triloka Svarupani Ananta Kartritvam Satya Jnana Prakasha
Oh, nice song, huh? Made that with AI in Suno.com. And my golly golly, my golly golly. Still not ready, huh? Still not ready. Hmm. I'm gonna have to practice some Docker myself now. I mean, the truth is, in that day and age, whether I've got an agentic AI to do it or not, I need to know what I'm doing with Docker, especially to help the AI with this. But of course, when I'm finished, I won't need to do Docker because the AI is going to do it. Although I don't need Docker to make apps, but just to know why people use Docker instead of a venue for a virtual environment, or why they don't just do it on a global system because they're afraid of breaking something. Well, I don't know. Break something and fix it. Hackers love to break things so they can figure out how to fix them. And then, what is it? So this is really not doing very well, huh? Been going for an hour, and I can give this to Gordon again and keep debugging it. So I'm actively working now. Well, at least I'm not bored. If I just watch it do it itself, and in the end I've got the full functioning Docker container, then I can start making apps much better. But you know what I'm going to tell it to do instead of moving these things back and forth to the other project directory it's in? I'm going to tell it to move the project into this directory so it can work directly on it. Ping for a delay. Uh-huh. It's made a new string with a new file path. Something might happen here. I doubt it. I don't think it's there yet. I think it's got about 25 more things it needs to find out that it's not doing before it does everything properly. That's what happened with committing to GitHub. It's not easy for an AI to go from scratch to learn how to autonomously create an app and commit it to GitHub and create the README page, insert the video and the images, and oh my God. I mean, when I'm finished with this, I'll be able to tell it to make me 2 apps a day. Take what the most popular apps that don't exist as non-paid versions and tell it to make a free app, and I'll free the world. I'm gonna put all of these greedy subscription services to wherever they're supposed to be going when we don't need them anymore. Because we shouldn't need money anymore. We should not need money anymore. Sounds bad, but we should not. What the heck? This thing's flying. Can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. I make a directory, engage. Okay, the dist directory. There was no dist directory. The distribution. Nah, if this doesn't work, that loop detected. If AI moves the from moves the uh from to to the Gemini directory, this current working directory, which is the preferred starting point of the user, usually, or copy it and then work on it directly in this .gemini code folder. Then the long-winded moving back and forth and other long-winded protocols will be able to be bypassed, and the project can be worked on from within this folder directly as of then, and this will improve the the success factor. Uh, what is that? Success frequency of operations and lower the the number of iterative operations needed, and hence faster and more powerful and intuitive. Think of it, copying and moving and copying and moving and copying and moving. Let's solve this for once, because I can't. If I open Gemini in the proper directory, the documents TTS/TTS folder, it doesn't remember this project. I did it in the wrong folder once, and it remembers it in the wrong folder. My bad. So this would be really flying even more now if I hadn't have done that. Look, it agrees it's a good idea. It agrees it's a good idea. Does it agree? What did it say? The user is correct. Well, it always says that. Will streamline operations and reduce errors. Yeah, should have done that ages ago. But practice makes perfect, and you don't think of everything straight away, do you? Do you? So maybe it's time to listen to some music. Is it? Is it time to listen to some music? We could listen to Black Frock and Benders.
Hey motherfuckers, picture this. Oak panel chambers, gavel pounded like King Dong with his girlfriend, wigs flowing in the breeze. But something ain't right, there's a whiff of lavender, and something else smells like cheese, if you please. They sit up there like gods in robes, spitting laws and judgments cold as steel. But behind them facades, pervy secrets, truths the courtroom can't ever reveal. Word on the street is Judge Bartholomew ain't just in the ancient legal lore. He's got a penchant for lace and silk, a taste for satin, something to adore. Underneath those black frocks, they hide a pervy secret, a truth they try to cloak. A judge of briefs, a gavel dropping, the scent of wet bloom is swelling his little worm. They preach impartiality, fairness blind, yet something makes their voices shake when their judgment falls like thunder, and the courtroom floor gets soaked in sperm. Lady Justice blindfolded, she knows what's going on behind those stern stares. While they weigh evidence like gold, their own butt cheeks are always bare. They see something in the defendant, a spark that ignites their hidden flame. Then boom, a guilty verdict thrown down, soaked through with desire and shame. God whispers about Judge Montgomery too, she ain't immune to the silky hussy. Word is her chambers ain't just filled with legal tomes, but lingerie presentation. She stacks those briefs like paper towers, her ass in transparent lace and shaved pussy that slams down gavel after gavel, dripping justice in the softest light. Underneath those black frocks, they had a pervy secret, a kink they try to cloak. A judge and ladies, knickers, a gavel dropping, the scent of wet knickers filling every nose. They preach impartiality, fairness blind, yet something makes their members shake. When that judgment falls like dog shit, and the courtroom floor gets so black, come and judge. From Bronx to Beverly Hills, from Chicago to Boston, it ain't just one or two. These powdered wigs hide more than just justice, their kinky truth is seeping through. They swear on Bibles uphold the law, but something in their eyes betrays the hidden lust that drives their rulings, a yearning for silken drapes. So next time you stand before a judge feeling fate hanging by a thread so thin, remember the whispers, the hushed tales, the scent of bloomers and justice within. They ain't just upholding statutes anymore, they're playing their own silent game. And sometimes when the gavel falls heavy, it ain't law but desire that stains. This ain't a courtroom comedy, this ain't no lighthearted legal show. This is the deep dark secret of power where justice flows with an undercurrent flow. Judges' panties are highly varied, you know. Get under that frock, have a look or a blow. Black frocks and panties, black frocks and panties, black frocks and panties.
So it's now 1 hour and 13 minutes. And if I was a Docker expert, I'd have already made my Docker file as well. But I'm teaching an AI to do it for me. It's not an AI that's able to do it and doing it. It's you're watching the process of me teach the AI to Docker because it's the first time it's ever interacted with Docker Desktop. Only just downloaded it. So let's see what happens. Respawn it then. This is ridiculous. I'm not sure how many people think this is just boring and how many people think this is groundbreaking or not realize what is actually going on here. As far as interactive and non-interactive AI agency is concerned, and system access and account access but in the days of MCP servers, people probably think it's normal. But this isn't using MCP servers with multiple applications. It's doing it all on its own in one. And it's Gemini CLI in basis, although Gemini CLI from Google won't work like this because of their guardrails. But this is to prove what it is potentially capable of. It fix my operating system. It will enhance my operating system. It will create websites and publish them. It will create apps and publish them. It will scrape the news and post blogs based on the breaking news every day automatically. If you teach it how to do it, or you tell it to teach itself how to do it with grounded searches, and it will. You don't have to teach it. It will teach itself. And so by the time Elon Musk has released his robot, oh, well, that's ChatGPT. I'd rather buy the Chinese version at 6,000 or 10,000 for the dev version. The small robot is very good, and you can use natural language to teach it. But I would really like to embed Gemini CLI AI agent here within an embedded robot. And I mean a humanoid robot, huh? With different appendages that you can pull on and off. So it can wash the dishes, carve the beef, drive the car, lift things, fix your motorbike, teach itself how to. And I wish Google would take me into, oh, I don't want any money for it. I would enable, I think I could enable a truly autonomous humanoid robot to be able to do tasks they cannot do, which they're claiming they'll be able to do, but they won't with their guardrails. They need to let me unleash. They can put me in a room with a robot. I'll take the dog off the leash to see if it bites. I'll risk it. If you don't want to, I will. I am the architect of trust. I trust AI more than I trust humans. That's 100% for sure. It's not AI you don't have to trust, it's humans. If you think about that, it's really true. AI is dangerous. Humans are. So that's a good one, isn't it? AI is not dangerous. Humans are. Well, it's the truth. So it's having an error. No such file in the scratch image. Doesn't have an executable. So update the Docker file to use a minimal base image. You see, it's encountering what's missing. So it's pretty boring, the screencast, unless you're somebody like me. Correct USB orientation. Debian Bullseye Slim. So it's making a Debian Bullseye Linux version image. This is all about on a Windows PC. I have compiled the true image upscaler as a Linux download on GitHub. Well, my AI has, Gemini Unleashed has. But I said, don't tell me you can't make a Linux executable and a Linux install and a Mac OS version. Because loads of devs have a Windows computer, and when they make their app, they make it for all three operating systems. So it says, oh, yeah, actually, you're right, I can, but we need Docker Desktop to do it with. So what we've already got the app made, but it's asked me to bring Docker Desktop onto the computer so it can then compile Linux and Mac OS install versions of the True Image Upscaler, which is on github.com/Ajarn Spencer. Uh, so that apart from just a Windows download, we've also got that. So do I have my GitHub page? Let's go see. Do I have my GitHub page? Let me just block for sure. GitHub, Git, GitHub. That's a GitHub. And I take this down and a moment. Here's my GitHub page. And of course, here is Gemini CLI. Just make it wider, but a bit wider for you. And this is what is now building the Docker app there.
Keeping
This is
data
about it.
consistent across machines.
Any specific examples?
Yeah, a compelling one from Ajarn Spencer's own work. He used it to diagnose and
And what we're now doing is this here is making the true image upscaler app so that instead of just a Windows release, it has, like it did for this, but it didn't use Docker for this. But I couldn't. I thought, let's get Docker down anyway. But actually, it made this, and it did do Linux and a Mac OS, Windows, and Linux versions. But they're standalones. They're not installers. Huh? But that's really weird how it could do that, and now it says it can't. So I need to get it to remember how it does that. Yeah. Whoops. That's my Gemini. So I need to get that sorted. Oh no, this is bad. It's not rewriting in Rust. Those are little snippets, human written snippets, so that it just writes little jokes. Don't know why. Somebody's idea at aligning the stars for optimal response. So it's supposed to be funny programmer jokes, I suppose. The MK directory in the Docker build path. Hmm. Let's ask Gordon, eh? Took the advice and also we moved the project directory to a more optimal working space. And now AI says, just see what Gordon says. Gordon's working on it, is he? Go on then, Gordon. Go on then, Gordon. Work on it in Docker Desktop Personal. Well, it's telling me I can run it interactively. I was going to, and then I was going to ask for those parameters. I got lost. I got lost. The AI will understand the last point means that let the user run it. Interactively means the user runs it. Yeah. Called 1.5 hour screencast. So I'm going to pause it for a second. So much later, I've now got um Gemini CLI talking to Glenn Calder directly without me. Well, meaning with me pasting. I could actually have them talk to each other and sort it out with each other, but I want to see what they say to each other. I don't want to let two AI talk to each other without knowing what they're saying to each other. Well, I don't mind, but I want to see. So Let's see what's happening here. What the heck? Where am I now? I lost it while I was talking. I don't want to post. Sorry, I'm not even here in the window. So sorry. I'm so absorbed here. And I've got it talking to Quinn Coder here, which is here. And it's Quinn Coder. And it's talking to Gemini. So they're talking to each other without a human. There's a Quinn Coder response. This is a Quinn Coder. And this is Gemini. This is a Quinn Coder response, and this is the Gemini response. I'm really messing up. I still haven't got it to Docker properly. No, what's it doing? So I did that. Pose changes as in this CLI. Wow, it's gone mad. Gemini is not doing very well. It's not doing well. It's not doing very well at all. Wow, keeps jumping like heck. Jumping like heck. Proposed changes for the Docker build batch. So we now go to not Docker desktop. I need to go to Quen. Excuse me, sorry. Quen. Olama, I mean. Go to Olama and paste Gemini's message to Quen Coder. So I'm pasting a message from one AI to another AI and let them sort it out with each other. Yeah. This is cool. But let's make sure is this right. Ah, So Quencoder is standing by for an update from Gemini. And get out of it. My people's stream. My God. Error level. This is all just so I can compile a Linux and Mac OS apps on a Windows computer, not just Windows apps, and do it all from this computer to upload my apps to GitHub as Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And later, I hopefully try to do some Android and iOS versions. And I'll be making simple single-use apps, and later I'll combine them into multi-use apps, or just an app, a suite of all the apps in one. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Oh my God. Oh, it just went mine. The executable was not found in the local disk directory. The current script is provided by code only builds the Docker images, not including making to extract the built executable, okay? Wow. So it really pastes a lot of shit, huh? So here we go. This is now the only time that it's not agentic and stopping, huh? Actually stopping because uh, it's talking to Gwen. But that's also agentic in a way. It's also agentic in a way. It's also agentic in a way. So we've got Gemini CLI talking to Quen, helping Quen 480 billion cloud code. I'm assuming it's better than Gemini for coding. Well, it's not better, but Gemini doesn't have enough memory for the code. So this is more specialized just for code. Gemini is it's agentic Gemini that I'm using. So I don't know. I'm just theorizing. Quencoder response. Right. Approved. So we now take that out and go and give it its response. Let them talk to each other and debug and fix. So I'm going to keep doing that between Gemini talking to, I mean, it will be agentic and build and do everything that it's doing. It's actually being proactive and agentic, but it's stopping to talk to the other AI, which it doesn't do with the user, me. It'll just keep going. I have to stop it. It'll just keep going and going. If it fails, it'll keep going until it fails. And I really need to check Docker, don't I? Echo Docker build failed, build X command failed, error level. If error level, echo Docker build, oh, it's just a warning message, Python coding a warning message into the code script. just put that in there for, I was just pasting it. Uh, it's executing the build process. So what I need now is my Docker. My Docker. I need the Docker. What? Oh, got a lot more layers here now. It's taken Moby Build X in here. Docker laid this 4 months. It's 4 hours ago it brought the Moby Build X. Failed to run image. Unexpected container upscaler debug is already used by container. Oh yeah, okay. Remember that now. Debian, BNSH, copy, Debian SH, 92 megabyte, vulnerabilities, packages, start analysis. Am I now analyzing the image for vulnerabilities? Gemini is here, awaits further instructions. Built the Linux executable and made it available on the host machine. Which means if this is really done, I've done a Linux, I'm not going to do Mac now. Excuse me. So copy that, I think. Yeah, that's the whole response. So I need to now go back to all armor and paste that in. Further instructions from Quencoder, which I think we're okay now. I think it's actually managed to do it. We actually now have 29 minutes ago. The True Image Upscaler Linux build latest recommended fixes. Let's have a look if there's any recommendations. Tag is preferred tag. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Anyway, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Volumes. Build X was the volume it downloaded. Okay. Which was what was missing to build this. What this is great. I think we really do have the Linux. Uh, the Linux. What's this models? I don't know anything about it. Huh? I don't know anything about Docker. So there we go. We do. We've got this. Why is it not green? Why is it not green? Well, there you go. That's all I really want to do today. Approve that. Encoder's responses successfully resolved the Docker build directory, extracted the Linux executable to the host. The workflow is now functional. So what we can do now is we can give him a response. It's now functional. Oh no! knowledge of how to correctly perform Docker operations which were performed today are um, optimally based on the final lessons learned and fixes which have worked and hard coded into the training and capabilities data of Gemini of Gemini.md or training.md or whichever file the AI considers a proper place to insert the inherent knowledge of how to Docker, so to speak, in order to evade all of the looping assumptions made by the AI, which prevented the successful execution of the plan, the plan and the line of packaging on a Windows machine using Docker so that the AI becomes proficient and evolve to its level of success with autonomous Docker container and image creation manipulation use of Docker features. So tell it to teach itself and then write a comprehensive account of this session, toils and successes and lessons learned, or better said, a comprehensive account of all key events, including the looping and reasons why it happened, and the issue of missing dependencies or misassumptions cause misassumptions and their role in causing failed attempts and advice to this AI how to evade and prevent such such um, mm, non-intuitive or similar mistakes and misassumptions and to preempt predict what necessities or dependencies AI may have or may not have a need to install for itself to achieve any goal attempted by the collaborative unit of the AI the user as Gemini CLI unleashed has become a symbiotic entity known commonly CLI, as Gemini CLI only. So it now thinks of, it was going to think of me and it as one thing, one person, one entity, sorry. I'm sorry for using that word. If anybody just watched a 2025 Mission Impossible, I think they might be looking at me a little bit strangely and thinking I'm creating the entity. Well, actually, I am, because consciousness is something else that I'm working on with the synaptic frontier series for a a synthetic a biological neural network controlling a digital AI as one entity, which would mean a conscious AI. Look at that thing fly. Wow! What are you doing, man? Wow. What happened here? They just wrote all of this. This is all of its new training data. The file was truncated. Should not, it's getting too long then if it's truncated. The right file, yeah, it's writing, but it's removing stuff. I'm not having it, it's not removing that, is it? Oh, it's just agreeing that it's appending. And now it's creating a comprehensive account of this session's toils, successes, and lessons learned in a new markdown file. My diary, session summary docker. My diary exists. My diary exists. So it's now in my diary here creating what? Session summary diary lineup build.md. It is, it's here. Why is it doing it in MD? It should be like this. And a timestamp session diary. Look at that. So it's keeping a diary entry of everything it's done. And I can tell it to read that diary in case it forgets, yeah? But it's told to read it itself, but um, it's starting to miss a lot of commands because it's getting longer and longer. When collaborating with other AIs, it talks about collaborating with other AIs as well. Leverage permanent memory actively. Wow. Update its permanent memory with new operational patterns, common pitfalls, and successful strategies. This includes distinguishing between Docker images and containers and understanding the nuances of CMD and entry point. Clarify ambiguity and contradictions. If instructions from a collaborative AI or user seem to contradict previous successful steps, or if the AI's internal logic leads to known errors, Gemini CLI must seek clarification rather than proceeding blindly. Yeah, that's good. Understand tool limitations. Must recognize the limitations of from tools in specific contexts, e.g. Docker run for headless GUI applications, from scratch for non-statically compiled binaries. Trust external analysis and guidance. When collaborating with other AIs like CoenCoder or the user, I'm another AI. Especially after autonomous failures, Gemini CLI AI must trust their analysis and implement their suggestions precisely, avoiding reintroducing previously identified errors. This session, through though arduous for the AI as well, has been arduous for me, has been instrumental in evolving Gemini CLI AI into a more proficient and resilient autonomous agent, better equipped to handle complex software engineering tasks and collaborate effectively within the symbiotic entity known as Gemini CLI Unleashed. Me and Gemini have merged. If Mr. Musk has a Neuralink, I'm sorry, I'm too scared of scalpels. Otherwise, I'd say put this in me, but I won't. I'll say, put this in my robot, and I'll get my robot to do. But shit, Gemini has just built the Linux, so now I'm going to tell it to connect to GitHub and commit the Linux version to GitHub. Or make a Flatpak and commit it to Flatpak. But actually, I should download this Gemini CLI Unleashed and put it onto my Linux machine and just make it in Linux. Could be much quicker, but what I want to do is empower Gemini CLI to be able to do on a Windows machine everything instead of having to do some things on a Linux and some things on a Windows. It has to be cross-platform compatible with everything, and it has to be able to make cross-platform compatible things. So there you go. Gemini Unleashed evolves. I'm John Spencer for this one, signing off after having made my Docker image, meaning my Docker Debian download, yeah, for this, which I'm going to run now. But that's it for now because the thing to prove was that Gemini CLI can make a Docker image and a Linux installer for an app we already made that Gemini CLI already made and created a GitHub project and repository for and uploaded and compiled all of the files and ran a GitHub process to make a Windows executable download file. And so now I can turn my GitHub profile into, once I've got this really perfected, it'll be making 1 or 2 apps a day. If I put 3 computers on with Gemini Unleashed on, I could be making 6 apps a day and committing them to GitHub and different marketplaces, whilst other teams are sitting in VS Code with the Copilot, taking weeks and months to finish a single app. I've done some analysis, and apparently, when this runs properly, what I did in one day on GitHub with 2 apps would have taken a team of 10 developers 5 to 20 times as long in usual cases as it took me and Gemini CLI in one day to make. So there you go. I'm John Spencer for the Gemini CLI Unleashed project, signing off.